Salvate discipuli. So today we are doing the first video in Chapter 6 for Latin for the New Millennium. And today we're going to learn two irregular verbs, sum and possum. And as you can probably tell from looking at these two verbs, possum is a compound of sum. So first we're going to learn the forms for sum, and then we're going to learn the forms of its compound possum. So first, a couple of bits of information about these two verbs. Okay, the four principal parts to the verb sum are sum, esse, fui, futorum, and this verb means to be, okay? It is an irregular verb. Actually, the verb to be is irregular in so many different languages. It's just the nature of the beast. It is a linking verb, which means that it cannot take a direct object. So you guys actually already learned this. Instead of a direct object, it takes a predicate nominative. So for example, Marcus puer est, right? Marcus is a boy. Puer, not an accusative direct object, it's a predicate nominative because we're using the linking verb est, okay? Now this compound verb possum, its three principal parts are possum, posse, patui, and it means to be able, okay? It is a compound of sum, but as you will see in the next two slides, it'll have two different sort of prefixes that can be attached to sum. The one prefix is going to be a pos if it comes before a form of the verb esse that begins with an s. It's going to be pot if it comes before a form of the verb esse that begins with an e, and you'll see what I mean in the next couple of slides. This verb, like several other verbs, does not have a complete meaning. It means to be able. But if I just say I am able, that doesn't give you sort of the complete meaning. I'm able to do what? So the second video that you guys are going to learn in Chapter 6 is a construction known as the complementary infinitive. And that's what's going to be used for verbs like possum, debeo, soleo, which you'll also learn this chapter, to complete the meanings of these particular verbs, okay? But for right now, what I really want you guys to note and to be able to do is conjugate sum, esse, fui, futorum, and possum, posse, patui in the present indicative and in the present infinitive. I should probably mention to you that in the most technical sense, the verb to be does not have an active or a passive, okay? It just is. So technically, this is the first person singular present indicative. Now, in practical terms instead of technical terms, if you were to say the present active indicative, I'm not going to get too worked up about it, but like I said, to be as precise as possible, you would call this the present indicative, not the present active indicative. There are no passive forms for it. There are no active forms. They're just the forms in the present. Okay, so how do we conjugate the verb to be in the present indicative? It is sum, est, summus, estis, sunt. Okay, and that means I am, you are, he, she, and it is. We are, y'all are, or you are, and they are, okay? And of course, the infinitive is always, the present infinitive is the second principal part, as always, so esse means to be. Now, think about that little rule I just gave you in the 2 slides ago, okay? Anytime we have a form of the verb to be that begins with an s, when we make the compound for possum to be able, we add a pos in front of it. But if that form of the verb to be begins with an e, we will add a pot, okay? So to conjugate the verb to be able, posse, in the present indicative, it's possum, potes, potest, possumus, potestus, possunt, okay? And that's going to mean I am able, you are able, he, she, or it is able, we are able, y'all are able, they are able, okay? And then our present infinitive, posse, which means to be able. So for right now, what I want to make sure is that you guys are learning and memorizing these forms. So make sure that you have taken very good notes, written down both sets of these paradigms, and I will see you in class. Have a lovely evening. Walete.